ye old, not ye old, I guess I should say, ye young floor goblins, be kind to your backs, because when you get to close to 40 like me, your back is going to hurt too much that you can't be on the floor. So, hello Outlander besties. If you were on this video, then you are about to see a really, hopefully, quick project. You may have already seen a few of my Outlander videos. I've made several of Claire's skirts out of really awesome wool tartan reproductions of what the tartans that she actually wore on the show Outlander. So I originally ordered 4 yards each of these heavy wools because I didn't really know how much I needed. Originally, Claire's skirts are reportedly to have at least 6 yards of fabric, and I knew that I was not going to be wearing these skirts as a costume. I was actually going to wear these skirts every day, so I didn't really know how heavy 6 yards of skirt was going to be, but I knew that my pocketbook would hurt very badly. So I ended up ordering 4 yards. I figured 4 yards would probably give me a full enough skirts, and for both of my Outlander bounding skirts that I have made, I only used about 3.5 yards. So I had a total of 1/2 yard of each of these very expensive tartans that I had already bought. So instead of them just wasting away in my stash, I decided, well, maybe I can come up with some type of wearable project that I can, get more life out of this wonderful tartan. Now, I have some other project ideas for that green tartan. Stay tuned for Bree's jacket and maybe a Harry Potter Professor McGonagall inspired witch hat. And I googled basically 3 patterns, and I stumbled upon this Red Riding Hood pattern that I made this probably 8 years ago for my daughter. This was when I was not sewing for myself, but I was sewing for my daughter, and I remember that this pattern came out pretty easily, and the instructions were pretty easy to follow, as well as the PDF file, came together very easily, which I'm not gonna lie, some PDF files out there on the web that you buy or if you get for free, when you print them out, even if you print them by the chart and the instructions, sometimes they just don't match up. To get this free pattern, you'll want to go to fleecefun.com and search for their Red Riding Hood cape pattern. It comes in 2 sizes, a child size and adult, and with 3 different lengths. I ended up downloading this, and I printed it out yesterday. I pieced it together, and this is how much I have. So I have about 1/4 of a yard. This is pretty long fabric. I think it's over 100 inches wide. I mean, it's really nice. Like, I could probably just make it into a shawl, but I think a capelet would be so much cuter, don't you think? I have, I think, just enough to make the mini capelet size of the cape, which is going to be awesome. I'm going to line the cape with some wool suiting that I've already had in my stash. You've started to see me use this wool suiting for the pockets I did for this skirt that I have, but as you can tell, I like furs. So I've worn fur with my skirt before when I went to go to the Fox Theater to go see the musical Cats. I got lots of compliments on my fur, and I have a lot of fur in my collection that is just kind of sitting there and I'm not doing much with. So it is the winter time in eastern Missouri, and it is cold, and I do work in a basement where, fur is necessary for me to keep warm. So I dug in my closet and I found this jacket that a friend gave me. It's vintage, but it's like probably 90s or even 2000s. Vintage, it's kind of sad that 2000s is vintage, but I guess it can be. So I don't feel bad for removing this, and it is just tacked onto the collar. The jacket is polyester, so I don't feel bad for disassembling this. So if this fits on my new cape, then I'm going to be so excited. If you're inclined to support this channel and my future projects, please consider visiting my store, Biblio Chic Shop, where you can find cute accessories inspired by my favorite books. So I mean, it's a cute jacket. It's just, it makes noises, and it's not warm. I feel like, I don't know. And it smells like cigarettes. The fur, Doesn't smell, yeah, the fur smells like cigarettes too, so I'm gonna try to fumigate the fur. I'm going to try to fumigate this fur and do all of the things I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and start cutting some fabric. I've already come to terms with not able to pattern match this tartan. I know it's going to, I want to say it's not going to bother me, but it's not going to, because usually it does, but it's not going to bother me this time around because with the little amount of fabric that I have, and I'm actually using, you know, basically wastage for, you know, something that I can use. So I will just tell myself that every time I see that the patterns are not matching. Oh wait, hold up. I need to cut that. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna, I need to cut that. Where's my scissors? That's actually looking a lot better. This is ridiculous. Ye old, not ye old, I guess I should say, ye young floor goblins. Be kind to your backs, because when you get to close to 40 like me, your back is going to hurt too much that you can't be on the floor. So I'm going to transfer this to a old lady back friendly cutting table. Ugh. Okay. That is much better. So I've managed to cut the back of the cape. Now I am to cut the front of the cape, and I need to do two. And this is what I have of fabric. So I have that scant, and then just a wee bit of this right here. So I'm gonna, I don't know if I could pattern match or not, but I'm gonna try. So what I'm matching right now are these little lines. I think I'm able to pattern match. I did not, and I have like plenty of leftover for another project. I might be able to make some mitts, so let me show you. So I marked my pattern with chalk before. So here is my back piece that I cut out on the fold. And so I basically lined up where the shoulder is to where the pattern is. So here is my side A, and then here's my side B, and look how much I have. I don't know how much there, I don't know how much here, but I have enough for another project. So if I have that project up, I will link it. But oh, I'm so excited. I am still super shocked that I was able to pattern match. Do you see my edge? Like, it's right there on the cut, but I was able to do it. I tried to pattern match plaid. It's not an easy task, but it's not as hard as you might think. So I did label. So this is A. So I'm gonna match A and A together. In full disclosure, I did not read the pattern. I don't know if the pattern says that you can line it or not. So what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to sew the shoulder and the side seams together on my plaid and then in my lining, and then I'm going to bag line them, which will pattern matching plaid. So you have basically these points on these plaids that you will want to match up. So then when you do sew them and press them, it will look like a continuous line. Hoping that I did everything right. So basically, you're going to want to line this line and this line with that line, and then these taupe areas too. So this is how I do it. So I pick a point where I'm going to put my pin. So right here is this taupe. No, sir. Oh, we're a little bit closer. I'm going to pick a point. So I'm going to do the edge of this taupe stripe and basically match it to the edge of the piece that I want to sew together with. So when you do put them together like this, hopefully it'll all match, and so then I just push the pin that way. So the next point that I'm gonna try to match is going to be the next stripe, which is also a taupe stripe. I'm going to do the lower edge again, right here. it's not going to be exact. And the good thing about the wool that I have, it is a tweed, so it's kind of like a mottled tweed, so it's not like really straight. So if it's not exactly, it's not going to be as evident, say if you had like a plain weave tartan. So with this one, I'm going to match, this might be overkill, but I do want to make sure that these match as much as possible. I'd rather be overkill than my lines not matching. Oh, you know what? Did I do this wrong? I did do this wrong. Just realizing this line right here is supposed to be matching down here, but obviously that's not happening. So, it's close enough. At least the shoulder will match. I knew my fate was going to be too good when I thought I was going to be able to. I probably could have. I don't know what line was supposed to be right here. Okay, as long as I think these line right here match up, I'm good. So I am going to skip down to these lines and just pretend that doesn't exist. I'm gonna match up the taupe lines. I think that's what I was doing, is I was matching up the vertical lines and not the horizontal lines. But 'tis okay. At least I'm getting a project out of basically cabbage. Would you call this cabbage? Or extra yardage, leftover yardage that I had from this project. So we have a little bumping right there. I'm going to... Alright, so I'm just going to work on pinning the rest of this, pinning my side B, and doing the same thing with my lining. Alright, so it's looking pretty good. I feel like the shoulders are a bit wide, like maybe it's made for a linebacker or something, but for a free pattern, it's not so bad. So I like the drape of it. My pattern matching is not too bad. It's just a little bit off on this side, but hey, I was using scraps. So my next step is to backline it, basically. Take my lining, put right sides together. I'm going to stitch around. I'm gonna definitely do these sides and then around. I bought today, I don't think it's down here, I bought metal closure that I'm going to use. So I'm going to go ahead and backline it. I'm going to not top stitch it, stay stitch. I'm gonna backline it, stay stitch it, and then press it all together. Stay stitching is so I don't have to do top stitching. And then I guess I'm gonna go take off my makeup and sit in bed and seam rip the collar on the green jacket to see if that collar would look good. Maybe if I put a collar on it, it won't make my shoulders so big. I'm not sure, but I will check in tomorrow. Okay, so I have her on my mannequin. Underneath you see a UFO project. Maybe I'll get back to that, but I'm gonna focus on this today. So this is what it looks like without the collar. I feel like it is hanging too far down. Even though the seam is right here, I guess just on my body and the mannequin's body, it just wants to fall down. So I think that the fur collar on top of it fills in. If I take like the tips of the fur collar and pull it up, it fills in all of that. All right, and side note, so here is the jacket that I thought was polyester. The fur collar came on and you can see that it has like that notched lapel. It stinks really bad, but I figured that it wouldn't hurt for me to do the burn test on the fibers on this, just in case it turned out to be silk or even natural fibers before I rethrifted it. Turns out that it passed the burn test for natural fibers. It did smell like hair when I burned it. So I'm assuming that this is either silk or I don't know what else smells like hair. I think wool smells like hair too. But it didn't like bead up, like turn into hard beads like polyester would. So this is natural fibers, at least the outside fashion fabric is. It smells like cigarette smoke and it is really dirty. So she is going to get a bath and get dried and she's gonna go into my stash. I don't know what I'm going to do with her. but I'm gonna keep her. Here is my burn test. There is no beading on the top, and it definitely smells like burnt hair. If you have any suggestions on what I should do with this green fabric, if I can somehow do a thrifty flip, let me know. If it is a historical bounding, history bounding type look, that would be even better. But it doesn't necessarily have to be history bounding. Trying to decide if these awesome hooks that I got from Walmart are going to be lost. I think it looks really good without the fur if this cape fit me properly. I'm going to let me pin the collar in to see what it looks like. You know you're middle age when you misplace things all the time. I'm looking for my pins. Where are my pins? Yeah, well, I guess I'm gonna turn this up until I find those darn pins. Alright, so I'm playing around with my hook options. I bought this really cute filigree metal hook, but like if I put it parallel to the ground like you're supposed to, like this seems like it's too naked for me. My other option was to put it like at a slant from where the fur collar is, but I feel like that's gonna pull funny. So I think I'm leaning towards just putting a regular hook and eye on the underside of the cape. So it is essentially going to be hidden underneath this collar. So I'm just going to go ahead and work on hand stitching this baby, put the hook and eye in, and next time I see you, hopefully, if it's not too cold in Missouri, I will go outside and photograph and film this lovely ensemble. So muddy.
If you have a lot of thrifted furs like me, then you can make a DIY muff by grabbing one of your stoles and just rolling it up to warm your hands. Maybe one day I will tack this up so I don't have to roll it every time I want to go out and use it.
There's a deer. Hold on. Oh, he's gonna go away. Look. Oh, I missed it. There's a deer like straight up came out and looked at me. He's like, what are you doing? Yeah, I saw the deer. I missed. Oh, that was bad.
I'm glad you don't have very good eye-hand coordination.
I can do better.
Ooh,
there we go.
Death. If I wasn't old, I would drop to the floor. If you have made it this far in this video, you are awesome. Be sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on future videos. What should I make next?